What was the reason given to justify this in the first place?
You're completely right. So obviously, when we went into national lockdown, all NHS trusts did everything they could to protect their clinicians. Obviously, women will have to keep going to hospital to give birth. That is not something that they could suspend, unlike other services. So their priority was making sure that women were going into safe locations to give birth. But on the 5th of June, the government said the guidance will change. We're out of national lockdown. Women should have partners with them. Also, partners deserve to be there. And it just hasn't happened. And I haven't heard NHS Trust coming out really saying why they haven't done it. And therefore, that's why I'm pushing so hard to make sure we change it.
And again, these are, they can be very, very happy, wonderful occasions, but they can also be some of the worst occasions in your life. I suffered 4 miscarriages. 3 of them were what's called missed miscarriages, where basically the baby, I mean, sorry to do this to people who are having a nice Monday morning, but the baby has died and you don't know the baby's died until you go for a scan and there is no heartbeat. And to find that information out and to be on my own with a complete stranger, I think would have been absolutely harrowing. And to force women to go through that, and some women actually have to go through, waiting to have an operation after a miscarriage or to go through the miscarriage themselves without their partners there to hold their hands, seems to me to be, frankly, just cruel.
I mean, first of all, it's so brave of you to share that publicly, because unfortunately it's not something we talk about. So women, when they find out they've had a miscarriage, sometimes they feel ashamed, which absolutely makes no sense at all. Yeah. But, what they're going through is so tough. And actually, the emails I've had over the last 2 weeks, also from fathers. A father messaged me the other day and said, I'm currently sat in the car park while my wife has our baby who died removed from her womb. And I'm sat in the car park. I'm not allowed in the hospital. And I feel heartbroken because all I care about is in that room. And it is utterly unforgivable. And I think one of the things that I find particularly unforgivable is this idea that women don't need partners in the first bit of labour, early labour, before they hit active labour, which, as we all know, is considered 4 centimetres. The reason I find this personally so egregious is that I was in labour for 36 hours with my last son, and I never got to 4 centimetres. So I would have gone through 36 hours on my own, 2 trips to the operating theatre with bells ringing and emergencies going off, with no one there to advocate for me. Because this isn't just, women want support. It's women need someone there to advocate for them, to say,
shout loudest for them. I can say I can trump you on that. I did 74 hours, a lot of it in hospital, and I absolutely need my husband there. But also the key thing is here, we expect men to be there for their children. Well, we're now talking about taking paternity leave, and obviously if things go wrong, they're supposed to pay for their children, no matter what. And yet we're saying until the moment they're born, frankly, they're not important when it's half their child. And also, we've been some cases, if your child is born in some hospitals, if your child happens to be born during visiting hours, fine, dad can stay. If it's outside visiting hours, then dad's got to go after the baby's born. I mean, this is just sort of a lottery, isn't it?
It's an absolute lottery. It's utterly unacceptable. And that's why actually I'm fighting for partners as much as I am for women themselves, because partners deserve to have the support. And it's not like the movies where everything's happy and easy and waters break and 2 hours later a baby comes out and the woman's back to being normal. We all know what the reality is. It's wrong. It needs to change. Even if we go back into more stringent lockdown measures, I still don't believe that women shouldn't have a partner with them at all stages of labour, because frankly, particularly during national lockdown, you are in a bubble with that individual most of the time. So that person is bringing as much risk as you are. So it needs to change, and it needs to change now. And clinicians want to see it change, because I've got so many doctors around the country writing to me about that they've never seen so many women crying on the maternity ward in their lives. They've never seen such high levels of post-traumatic stress amongst women. It has to change.
Put the dads in hazmat suits as long as they're there. Absolutely. Keep up the campaign. Alicia Kearns, Tory MP, leading that campaign. Really appreciate your good work on that. We should all be getting in touch with our local MPs to make sure that they are seconding that campaign.